welcome to another episode of Regional Italian Cuisine. My name is Caterina, and on tonight's program we're going to be going to that wonderful area of La Basilicata, which of course is found in the southern part of Italy. Now, just to remind our viewers, Basilicata of course is bounded by Calabria, Puglia and of course Campania, and therefore you're getting a lot of the wonderful influences from those areas. Interesting space of course, because as I must remind you all, mountains, mountains, mountains. That's what it's all about in this region, and we are going to be going to a wonderful town called Mazzicovetere, which is about 40 kilometers from Potenza, which of course we know is the regional capital of this region, and it's about 120 kilometers from Matera, which you find on the east side of Basilicata. The queen of the table in this region, of course, is bread, but pasta. Pasta is the thing that I guess characterises their diet, and a lot of tomato-based sauces, chili, very, very strong, olive oil, because the olive groves are all around the mountains, and of course vegetables. And on tonight's program we're going to be meeting a first-generation born lady called Rosa, whose family came here, I guess, sometime around the 40s and 50s. And she has been able to keep the traditions going on in Australia by, I guess, adopting some of her recipes from her homeland. Let's go and meet the wonderful Rosa, and she's going to give us a bit of an insight into the food of her hometown. Ciao, Rosa. Thank you for joining us on this program where we're featuring, of course, the food of your family, in a sense. Now, Rosa, tell me a little bit about yourself and your upbringing, because I guess, was it fairly traditional?
It was traditional, but it was very rustic. Lots of cooking every day at my house. My mum did a lot of the cooking. It was always homemade cooking.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Using lots of homegrown produce that we had.
I guess your mother would have put all those pasta shops out of business, because she wouldn't have been going in there.
She certainly did, yeah.
Now, what is going to be the first recipe that you're going to be doing for us this evening?
Tonight I'll be making ricotta and parsley ravioli with homemade pasta, and it was usually served up on a Sunday lunch with the family.
Yes, mums get up very early in the morning, 6 a.m, and then there's flour everywhere. Yes.
So after my mum would make the ravioli, there was always leftover pasta. She would make a dessert, and sometimes she would use chestnuts, lots of chocolate and coffee, a little bit of Galliano in there as well.
A bit of Galliano in there, like that.
And then she would make the same format as using a ravioli.
Yes, yes.
But then she would fry that. And
what are they called?
They're called panzerotti.
Panzerotti, which are a very, very famous fried, as you say, pastry that comes from your region.
That's right.
And then what are you going to be following on with? And
then I thought I'd make peppers, sweet chili peppers, fried with garlic and anchovies, and some breadcrumbs, and some fresh breadcrumbs, as well as some
that sounds fantastic.
real breadcrumbs.
You could eat that on its own,
You could. And then afterwards I've made some chicken schnitzel. Usually they wouldn't have chicken schnitzel overseas.
Yes.
They would use pork mainly.
Yes. Cotolette di maiale.
That's right. But I actually like chicken, so I've made chicken schnitzels tonight.
And I guess it's going to work very well with your sweet peppers, because you've got the sweetness of the peppers, and I guess the chicken cotolette is a little bit lighter, a bit more delicate, and less fragrant.
And it's very tender.
Fantastic. Well, I think it would be an opportune time now to go into the kitchen, and let's see Rosa get to work. Hello, Rosa, can you take us through the process of making the first dish, being these ravioli called la ricotta?
Okay, well, we get the flour, and
do we sift it? Do we sift the flour?
No.
Don't need to?
No, don't need to. Then we crack some eggs into the bowl, add some salt and a bit of water. That's making the pasta.
So you amalgamate it. So does it need to be warm water, or
no?
No, So it's just, that's a bit of a process there, because you've really got to know how to get it to what consistency.
But and so I then turned it onto the table and let it rest for a while. My mum used to use a
tea towel.
Well, not a tea towel, a rolling pin to roll it all out.
Right, right.
But that was too much hard work for me, so I use a pasta machine now and roll it through and make some pasta sheets out of that. So to make the filling, I use the ricotta, eggs,
yes,
the Parmesan cheese,
yes,
so Parmigiano. I used chopped parsley and some salt.
And some salt, okay. And you just amalgamate that really roughly. Do we need to pass the ricotta once again, or just no?
No. So just stir that up, making sure that it's well mixed together.
Yes, of course.
And then once the pasta sheets have been made,
yes,
you just take spoonfuls of the mixture,
yes,
and make align them all on the pasta sheets,
right,
and then turn them over, cut them up, and they look like little pockets.
yes,
And then so that the filling doesn't come out when you're cooking them, I use a fork.
yes, just to actually secure the edges together.
That's right, and it gives them a little bit of a
and
decorative detail.
And you like to make them fairly large too, don't you?
I do.
Yes, yes. So, no, I think they're fantastic actually. We have our pot of boiling water, which is always salted.
Always salted.
The Italians always salt the water. You can't add the salt to the pasta after it's been cooked, right?
No, that's right.
So, and did you add any olive oil to stop them sticking, or it's not necessary?
No.
And of course, then because it is fresh pasta, Rosa, you don't need terribly long to cook them. So, what are we talking? A couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes?
About three minutes.
About 3 minutes.
It didn't take very long.
No. All right. And then, of course, the next process in this dish is to make the sauce, which is a vegetable-based sauce. So take us through that process.
It was just 3 basic ingredients: onion, tomato, and basil.
Okay.
So chop everything up.
Fairly roughly, large dice?
Roughly, yes. Large. I chop them large.
Yes, yes.
And just fried with olive oil.
Yes.
Add in the onion.
We don't want extra virgin because that's... well, it'll burn anyway, but we just want just a basic olive oil.
Olive oil, yes. And then add in the tomatoes.
Yes.
A little pinch of salt there.
Yes.
And then add in the fresh basil.
Okay. What sort of tomatoes do you use in this wonderful sauce?
I just use whatever's in season. So lovely ripe tomatoes.
Oh, they're nice and ripe. So you don't need to add sugar or anything when they're really sweet.
No.
Okay. And how long do you need to cook this sauce for?
About 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes. Okay.
Till it reduces.
All right.
Lovely and soft.
Okay.